What up, y'all?
What up?
So
Today is Thursday, February 27th.
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah.
So the question is,
What makes you you? Right? What makes you you? What makes you unique? Or do you even find yourself as unique? Right? How do you define yourself? A lot of times in conversations, we hear people say, you hear someone ask somebody, what do you do? Like for work, right? What do you do for a living? And they say, I'm a this, I'm a that. You know, I'm a
bartender.
I'm a bartender.
I'm
right.
a teacher.
Right.
I'm a prostitute.
Right.
I'm a rapper. I'm a bodyguard.
Right. I'm a singer. I'm a poet. Right. So those are things you do, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you are. That doesn't mean who you are. Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't define who you are.
No.
Right.
It doesn't describe who you are either.
Not at all, by a long shot. But a lot of people get caught up into that idea and they let that define them. Because I know many times if that's the case, obviously I do have multiple personalities, right? But I've had a lot of jobs. But that don't necessarily define who I am.
Right.
That was a means to an end, right? I did that job to get these bills paid. But that don't necessarily make it who I am, right? So I'm asking you, who are you? How do you define yourself? Do you define yourself as a unique person? Do you define yourself as a very simple, plain person? Me personally, I would definitely say unique, but in the same sense, I think I'm very simple in a lot of ways as well. But it depends on who you ask, I guess. But me, my personal definitions, I think I'm pretty simple in a lot of ways. But I guess I can be complicated in ways too. But I see myself as very simple. I do. But and I say that because, for instance, I see people who need so many material stuff. They need so many things in their life to be happy, especially when it comes to material things. I don't. I know exactly what it is I like, and it's not a lot of shit. When it comes to diamonds and stuff like that, I never cared for diamonds. I like a little gold, but not too much. I do like jewelry, but nothing too super expensive. Just say that I like that piece is my eye, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to clothing, I don't care for high fashion brands. I just like shit that I like.
I'll wear some high fashion brands if it's not stupendously expensive, or it just doesn't look silly on me, because a lot of the designer shit just be looking stupid anyway.
Right.
But if it looks like something that I might wear or feels right on me, if it's more closer to my personality, I'll wear it. You know what I mean? But I would never just wear no designer brand just to do it, because it's not who I am. It has to fit with who I has to align with who I am, But in terms of who I am, I'm a person essentially like him. I'm simple. I like what I like, but I like nice stuff, right? But I like quality things. But I don't necessarily. I don't think I'm a materialistic person. I like nice shit, but I don't hold on to it too long. Most of my life, I done lost so much dope ass shit in my life that I bought: jewelry, clothes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck. I even had to just let a car go one time. I had to just move in here. I had to just let my car be. I couldn't afford to bring it with me. I just had to leave it on the goddamn street.
Wow.
That's what I did. And whoever wanted, they steal it, they take it, whatever. It's yours now.
Nothing lasts forever.
Everything lasts forever anyway.
Nothing's permanent, so
yep.
Why stress that,
Yep.
But based on the thing as far as material shit like that, I ain't really one for it. I guess neither is he for the most part.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it makes me. I could consider myself a simple person in that matter.
Yeah. But even though we're artists, right? We do art, for example. What's what we mean when we say we're not it's what we do is not who we are.
Right.
And what we mean by that is, okay, for example, we do music. We are musicians. We are artists. but it's not who I am. You know what I'm saying? Who I am is a little bit deeper than that.
Right.
That's what I do. Who I am is a loving person. Who I am is a peace-loving person.
Right.
I'm an introvert. I'm pretty much of a solo person, even though I'm born a twin. What I am is a twin. Who I am is really a solo nigga. You know, I'm naturally a born leader. I'm naturally a person that likes to. I'm a loner, and for the most part, I like my alone time. Yeah, I like my personal time. You know, I'm a personal person. These are things that describe who I am.
Right.
You know, who I am is a father. You know what I mean? That means I love the idea of family. I love family. You know, I just like the idea of having a family unit. You know, being there for my daughter. I love being a father. That is who I am. I'm a California native. That is who I am.
Right.
You know, I've moved to a lot of different places, but that's not who I am. That's just where I was living.
Right.
But this is who I am right here in the West Coast. This is who I am.
Right,
I'm a beach baby.
Right. That part.
So in terms like that, even with stuff like your religion, spiritually, that's what you're doing. You go to church, right? To go practice spirituality. But that's not who you are. I mean, some people think it is, even down to your sexual preference. Okay, you may be gay, you may be straight, you may be bi, you may be, you know, those are preferences to what you like sexually. It's not the totality of who you are.
Right.
You know, these are different aspects of your personality.
Right, but that's not who.
It's not who you are.
Those
It's
are
not the
those
total.
are aspects of it.
Yeah,
right.
those are just different aspects of it. It's not the
Right.
totality of who you are.
You're a Republican, you're a Democrat.
Right.
That's not who you are.
You ever see people who do that, who pick a
time.
political party and they identify with it like as if that's who they are?
Right.
So fucking pathetic to me. It's pathetic because
And
it's
it's
like
limiting. It's
yeah,
limiting
that's
to
why it's
who you
pathetic.
are.
It's like you're choosing to say I'm a Democrat and everything about being Democrat is who I am,
Right.
and that, I think like a Democrat, I shit like a Democrat, I talk like a Democrat, I watch movies about Democrats,
Right.
I talk about Democrat shit.
Right.
That's not who you are, man. That's just what you're choosing to do.
Right.
It's a view you have on things, essentially.
Right.
You know,
Which is nothing wrong with that.
nothing wrong with that at all.
But you definitely want to keep in mind that's not who you are.
Yeah, don't purposely limit yourself by defining yourself by something that's really not even who you are. It's just what
Right.
you do.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. Because what you do can change.
I know.
Which
I
it
know. I
tends
do.
to.
Yeah,
Right.
I
It changes
change
all the time. Right.
Yeah.
What you do changes all the time. So then that means, you know, you don't want to have to necessarily have to try to match up with the definition of who you are every single time something changes of what you do.
Right.
You know. So.
Shit, I remember when I was a personal trainer. The reason why personal training got boring to me is because I was around nothing but other people who were nothing but personal trainers. I was like, this is what I'm doing. I picked this route because it worked for me, my schedule, my lifestyle, and you know, and I wanted to do that for money. But I was stuck, and I felt like I was in a very small world in that way, because everybody there looked the same, they dressed the same. I didn't look nothing like none of these people. You know what I mean? They was looking at me crazy anyway, but that's nothing new in my life. But yeah, I didn't fit the whole identity of a personal trainer.
Right.
You know, only thing that fit the identity wise was that I was health conscious and I worked out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But in terms of, but that's why I got into it. I wasn't trying to fit into an identity.
Right.
I'd never done that in my life. I've never tried to fit in.
Or a definition.
Or a definition of something that wasn't me.
Right.
I can only be myself, you know?
Right.
I can only be happy with being myself.
Like, that also reminds me of a time like when we were in like junior high or whatever grade we were in at school at the time where you might have played sports, right? So people who played sports were considered what? A jock.
You're right.
But if you looked around at what jocks were like,
Sure.
whether they were male or female,
Yeah.
they usually only cared about the sports they played all the time. They only
Couldn't
cared
dress
about.
for
They
shit.
usually dressed like shit,
Yeah.
which was total opposite of how we were. They didn't really care about art. They didn't really care about anything outside of the sports.
The conversation was really
Everything,
fucking
you know, they
limited
dressed
and
every
basic.
day in sports gear.
Yeah.
They talked about sports all day,
Yeah.
you know, and they were just very limited. I felt like, you know what I'm saying? No diss to jocks, but I'm just saying that's what I noticed. And I was like, well, I'm not that. I love the sports. I love sports.
Yeah.
But I was never that. I never fit into that category, so I never called myself a jock. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I did.
Right.
But I wasn't that, you know? So that's another example of what I mean as far as a personal example of mine about not defining yourself based on what you do. Another one, let me think. Spiritual, right? Some people call themselves spiritual, right? I'm a spiritualist.
Right.
So then they shy away from material stuff because they think I'm only spiritual. I don't need that. I don't need money. I don't get caught up in money. I don't get caught up in material stuff. Listen, we live in a physical world. We live in a material world. So while we're playing this material game, I'm going to play it well. And I'm going to embrace the material things, like money. And technically, money itself is not only material, it is actually spiritual too, whether you believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what I'm saying is, as a spiritual person, who considers himself a spiritual person, I do indulge in material things, and I love it, you know? So, you don't have to define yourself based on what you do, is what I'm saying, you know? Don't define who you are based on what you do.
Yeah.
You know?
Because,
Take out time to find out who you really are.
Right.
You know? But don't let what you do define that.
Yeah, it's really weird when I see people in a rush to define themselves by all these different things around them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they can't wait to say it. Or like, even shit like this. Like, just because we work with people with disabilities, mental disabilities, physical disabilities, shit like that. And, for example, you take an autistic person or a Down syndrome, person with Down syndrome. They have Down syndrome. That's not who they are.
Right.
This is just a
Perfect
syndrome.
example. Right.
You understand? Go look up what syndrome means.
Right.
They have certain characteristics, but that's not who they are.
Right.
Who they are could be a very outgoing, loving person.
Right.
Could be a fucking gifted, very gifted, intelligent person.
Right.
Don't think just because a person has a disability means they're less intelligent.
Right.
It just means they learn or move or act
Differently.
or do things differently.
Right.
That's all.
No less than.
Don't let it define you. And I'm
Right.
speaking directly to any persons out there with any type of disabilities.
Right.
Your disabilities
Does
not
not
define you. It's not who you are.
Right.
So don't ever let nobody talk to you like your disability is who you are.
Right.
And if they do, correct them. Let them know who you are.
Right.
Let them know.
And that touches on something I want to say also. People will treat you based on who you tell them.
That's true.
How you tell them to treat you.
That's why it's important to
You know what I
define
mean?
yourself for
You
them.
define that.
Yeah.
You define how to be treated.
Yeah.
And who you are. So you make that decision to define it, and then you let them know how to treat you based on that. Right? It don't go no other way. You define it. You tell them how to treat you.
That's like people who have we've seen people, we're talking about this before, people who have any type of illness.
Mm-hmm.
And they own it and say my multiple sclerosis or my cancer,
I hate that so
or
much.
my whatever it is,
My disability.
my disability. It's not. Don't
My
own it
learning
like
disability.
that. It's not because it's not you. Don't
Right.
internalize it like that.
Right.
It's not because it's not the totality of who you were
a
supposed
very
to be
small part
or
of
who
it.
you are.
Very small part of who you really are.
Yeah.
Right. So don't let that define you. Yeah. Because you will hear people do that, and if you're one of them, pay attention
Stop
to this.
saying that. Just because you have it doesn't mean it's yours. Don't own it like that.
Right.
Don't say my cancer
My
or my
cancer.
disease or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because you're more than that disease or illness, whatever you got.
And you're also attaching yourself to it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be attached to it, especially something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole goal is you're trying to get rid of it, right? So don't
Right.
attach yourself to that.
Yeah.
You know? Let it come and go. Don't attach yourself to it. Don't say mine. Don't own it. So don't own it so much, you know?
Yeah. Don't let that's not your identity, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see, what are some other things that people do and almost own it as if it's who they are? What are some other things?
Well, just like a tragedy that happens in their life, for instance.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Like, I grew up poor.
Right, good one.
You know, I grew up
Yeah.
in poverty.
Yeah, we grew up in poverty
Or
most
grew
of
up
our
in the
life.
ghetto.
We grew up in the ghetto.
Because you grew up in the ghetto does not make you ghetto.
Yeah, we was some project babies, damn near. I mean, not no damn near. That's what the fuck it was. We
Right.
grew up in project most of our lives,
Right.
all up into our adulthood until we figured it out how to get out
Either
of shit.
just apartment buildings or
Yeah, I mean, it was
projects.
low income shit regardless.
way,
It's always
yeah.
low income, you
Right,
know.
right.
So with that comes a lot of different things, living in the hood and all that shit, you know. And they do form your personality. They do make you operate a certain way because, you know, in those environments, it's kind of survival.
Mm-hmm.
And that type of environments, those conditions can make you think. You can grow up thinking this is who you are.
All right.
But
I definitely did it first.
you know, you ever heard the term, don't be a product of your environment. Let your environment be a product of you.
Right.
That's what that means. Don't let it define you.
Right.
It's not who you are. It's just what you went through.
Right.
So that means even if in the past, in the back, when you was living in the hood like we did, we have our personality traits because of coming up from those situations. But I'll never say I'm a ghetto. I'm a ghetto dude. You know, I'm a hood nigga.
Right.
I'm from the hood, but
Yeah.
my mentality isn't. My mentality is bigger than that.
Right.
I'm thinking bigger. I've seen bigger than that. I've
Right.
seen more than that.
Done more than that.
You know,
Yeah.
and that goes for the motherfuckers that's in the hood now that ain't never left the hood. You don't have to be defined by these things. You're not just that. If you're in a gang, okay, you
So I
may
was
be a
gonna
part
touch
of a
on
gang,
that.
maybe a
Right.
gang member, but that's
Right.
not all.
All you are.
All
Right.
you are. You're
Right.
more than that.
That's not who you
It's
are.
not who you are. It's
That's
just what you chose to
that's
do.
what you chose to do.
What
Right.
you got
exactly.
involved with,
Right.
but that's not who you are.
Right. Right.
Don't let. I think it's what happens to a lot of hood dudes. Like they get involved with the street shit, and they let that shit, the mistakes or whatever they involve it, define them. You know, if you went to
Right.
prison, you caught a case, you let that define you and think this is all there is. You think
Right.
this is who you are.
Right.
I almost did that when I was in my 20s. I thought for sure, like, because at the time it seemed like that's all there was ever gonna be was all this little hood shit, going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Running from the police. You know, fights, all type of shit, drugs, all kinds of shit. And I for a while thought my destiny was gonna be just that, all that. I thought that was just gonna be who I am. I thought that was what all I was, all there was. You know.
Yeah.
But it's not who I am. It's not. It was just some things we went through, and it clicked for me not to let that define me. That's why I'm not just that. You know.
Yeah, it's a amazing power to have in your hands to be able to define yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that we a lot of us take for granted. We let other people do it. Matter of fact, we let circumstances and other people define who we are. But that's a misfortune, man. Don't do that. It's a very bad mistake to do.
Love yourself more than that to let that happen.
You define. You're the only one who can define who you are, and that's a beautiful thing because you can do it however you want to do it. You know. And matter of fact, let's just say, for instance, you just come up with whatever definition you want to come up with right now out of top of your head. Guess what? Once you act on that definition, you will see proof of that. You will see confirmation of that around you. The more you act on that. So right now, start right now. If you don't have a true definition of who you are, think it out, make it up, and act on that. And that definition will be reconfirmed over and over again until it's solidified into your reality. Just try it now. Try it today. You know, if you're one of them people that's always lived in existence that you're not happy with, change it. Change the definition of who you are.
I was about to say, yeah, get to the core of who you are. Think about that. You know what I mean? Pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to how people treat you. Pay attention to your past actions. Pay attention to your actions now.
What you say about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. How you talk to yourself. How you talk about yourself. How you let people talk to you.
Right.
Those things all are clues to who you are or who you're choosing to be.
No doubt.
If you don't like it, switch it up. Change it up. You know? Because who you are, it doesn't have to be limited to just who you are today. You could be somebody else tomorrow, make a choice
That's
to.
totally fine.
You know?
Right. You don't have who I am today. 5 years in the future, I could be totally different, and that's fine. A lot of people act like changing is wrong, like something's wrong with change.
Yeah.
You changed. So what? Change is great.
It's part of life.
It's part of life. It's part of growth. You don't fight change.
Yeah.
Don't fight change. A lot of people in society will try to make it sound like change is a bad thing. It's a great thing. Keep changing.
Matter of fact, anybody try to tell you don't change if they tell you that, they may not mean it, but they're only essentially telling you not to grow.
Right.
Don't listen to that.
Right.
Even if it sounds like love, because they don't quite understand how that really comes off.
That's
I
it.
don't think that's even what they really mean, but that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Don't grow.
Yeah.
And anybody that does purposely try to keep you from growing don't love you. I don't give a fuck who it is.
Wow.
They don't love you if they're trying to keep you from growing.
Yeah. Maybe they're fearful or something, you know, but at the end of the day, that's not real love if they're trying to hold you back from growing.
Yeah.
So yes, continue to change. Define yourself. Redefine yourself. Always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as always, like we were talking about, if you think this video helped you and gave you any kind of value at all, or it might help somebody else, like this video, share this video with that person you think this could help.
Yeah.
And most of us subscribe to our channel. That way it'll keep us connected to you, and you'll stay up with all the new videos that we come out with, and any other valuable stuff that we come out with. Because it's the whole point of this thing is to connect with people that are like-minded as us.
Exactly.
Right? So
if you found any insights, if you got anything, if you gained anything or learned something new or heard something you never heard before from these insights that we're dropping right here, let us know.
Mm-hmm. Leave a comment as well.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
Don't be a stranger.
Please do.
Yeah.
Bless y'all.
So yeah, just love yourself more than that. To ever limit yourself to just what you do. These aren't all the things of who you are.
Right.
You're a lot more than that. Allow yourself to be more. Love yourself enough. You deserve that. So speaking of which, I love myself and I love you. But I love you because I love myself. So love yourself for yourself.
No doubt.